Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Roota.com. Cheers to you for sticking tough with silver. Huge happenings right now behind the scenes. Of course, we won't be able to see it in price. The price is determined on the Futures and Options Exchange, on the COMEX, which is a criminal organization. Trump actually busted the ringleader, J.P. Morgan Chase, back in, when was that? That was back on September 20. So it was 2019 when he really went after J.P. Morgan. They ended up settling in September of 2020 for rigging the silver market mainly, but also gold and treasuries. But those are tiny markets as far as importance. They're massive in as far as size. But as far as importance, there's no more important rig job on the planet than the price of silver. The revelation that, oh my God, we're running out of physical silver. The revelation that, oh my God, 180 years of price suppression will not end silently. It will end with the closing of the COMEX. It will be no longer available. And we can see it happening right now. Today was the first day of notification of silver deliveries for the first delivery month in 2025, and it was massive. I think it was the highest ever. I think it was. The total on first day is over 50 million ounces. Now, we've had 65, 75 million ounces when back in like the early 2012, 2013, when JP Morgan was still rigging the silver market, they took delivery of a lot of silver. How much silver? About 1.2 billion ounces. To put that into context, the Hunt brothers messed around with about 100 million COMEX contracts, and they had about 100 million in physical. Warren Buffett took delivery of 130 million ounces of silver in the 1999 timeframe. And then he was taken out of that position. We know what happened to the Hunt brothers. The COMEX changed the rules, and you couldn't buy anymore, only sell, for the most part, in silver. And price went from $50 down below 10. They got it under control. In early 2000s, they went after Warren Buffett's silver, 130 million ounces. They took that silver by threatening to throw Warren Buffett in jail over problems at General Re, which is his reinsurance company. The problems just kind of went away with Buffett's, nobody even talking about what happened to Buffett. And all of a sudden he announces that, oh, by the way, we sold all our silver. And then they had the silver to start SLV, the other criminal organization. It is just a con after a con after a con. This is the wind down of the latest con, which is a lease of over 1 billion ounces of silver from JP Morgan, of the stolen silver, from JP Morgan to Bank of America. Bix, how can you say that? Excuse me, it's right here. This is it. The derivative report from fourth quarter 2021. Back about a year before, Bank of America had no silver derivatives, very tiny amount. And all of a sudden, they bump up with 27 billion in silver derivatives. Now, mind you, there's some, quote, other precious metals like palladium and, platinum and palladium, but not gold. Back in 2021, the OCC, the Office of Comptroller of Currencies, didn't figure out that we were going to figure this thing out. So once they figured it out, they changed what it looked like. So this is the fourth quarter of 2021. Look what it looked like the first quarter of 2022. Look at that. That is the spike of mothers. That is the largest spike ever, and it looks wrong because in order to hide what was happening, the leasing of the silver to Bank of America so they can put it into the market to control prices for another couple of years, they added gold. They took gold out of the previous category, which was U.S. Treasuries. They had gold and U.S. Treasuries together, and they put it in with silver. Obviously, it dwarfs silver. That's why you have that spike. That's where the con is. And it was the guy from J.P. Morgan who worked at the OCC who did it. And I outline that on the private road at Roota. Go to roota.com. We got all that info. Let's talk about silver. So price doesn't matter. What, like 92 to 1 gold silver ratio. If you have any gold, you are lucky. You are so lucky because you need to walk down to your local coin shop right now, swap all your gold for silver. You won't get 90. You'll probably get 85 or something because of commissions. If you don't trust your local guy, contact Andy Scheckman at Miles Franklin. info@milesfranklin.com. Send an email or call them and say, hey, I got 10 ounces of gold. I want to swap it for silver and get massive amounts of silver. And then when silver finally breaks free from price suppression, I'm going to swap it back. I'll end up with 100 ounces of gold. That's how lucky you are to own gold right now. Swap it for silver immediately. Swap it back after silver's freely traded. I believe it's going to go past 1-to-1 ratio. 1-to-1 ratio. There's about 6 billion of each above ground. And nobody really contests that. Not even Jeffrey Christian. But you wonder why. Then why is it a 91 price ratio? Because the bankers have massive amounts of gold. They can do whatever they want with price. Remember that. Price is nothing. It's COMEX blips. The price of everything is rigged. Every single item out there. Even the foreign exchange, the largest market on the planet, has an even larger derivative market. That's how they rig it. Everybody's starting to understand, oh my God, the United States might be printing as much money as possible behind the scenes because they're giving it out to everybody. This isn't real money. This is fake. Everything's fake. We rely on our government to tell us the truth about money. Russia relies on the United States government to tell them the truth about money so the monetary system stays in place. Putin's known for a very long time. He sent his number one economic advisor to the GATA conference in the Yukon in the early 2000s. You don't think he doesn't know what's going on? The United States is creating money out of thin air and not telling anybody about it. I think Catherine Austin Fitz's guy found over 100 trillion in U.S. bonds that are just appeared. 100 trillion. So yeah, way to go, Musk. You're going to save us half a trillion? It's all fake money. That's why all these people are getting paid off on the side. They just make up the money. How many people in the Biden administration was on those lists of continual payroll for like Social Security and wait till they get to medical benefits and all that shit? It is a con. It is a fraud. We need to destroy the system. And the best way to do that, the only way to do that, is to allow silver to spike through the roof, piercing the heart of JP Morgan, Bank of America, all the silver riggers, HSBC. And with their derivative book, JP Morgan just eclipsed $60 trillion in derivatives. They only have $3 trillion in assets. $60 trillion in derivatives. That is a weapon of mass financial destruction. Exactly what it was set up to be. We're living in a play, my friends, and we're at the final act of that play. You need to get physical silver in your own possession. Let's take a look why I'm so excited today. Right here. Here's the first day of delivery, or first notification of delivery. All this silver supposedly will get delivered in the next couple days. Right here. Sorry about that. This is literally the biggest I've seen first day of delivery in over 10 years. Maybe ever. I don't remember way back. When JP Morgan was taking delivery all the time. But this is interesting. So we have right here, it's 10,119 contracts, over 50 million ounces have stood for delivery in March. But the bigger question is, we know that 99% of the trades on the COMEX are just the banks trading back and forth with each other to make a, quote, make a market to steer the price. It's obvious to everybody, hopefully, because you got to look at the volumes. Look at the volumes of silver that are traded. Even this is a low volume day yesterday, and it's still almost 400 million ounces in a single day. That's just insanity. But those aren't real trades. That's JP Morgan, that's HSBC, Bank of America, using the derivative expert Virtu Financial, Vinny Viola over there, to trade these contracts back and forth, high frequency trading, just back and forth, literally every single day. That's how they set the price. It is a con, it is a fraud, and you are so lucky. If you're just finding out about the silver story, you are so lucky. Some of us have been in this game for 25 years fighting this fight, and we've never been closer to the end game. The destruction of the silver cabal, the destruction of the unbacked fiat monetary system. Trump's already planning to... Everything Trump is doing is saying, okay, we're getting ready. We're getting ready. What's going to push it off the cliff? It might be this. Trump says tariffs on Mexico and Canada will arrive Tuesday, 25%. Where do we get 65% of our silver? From Canada and Mexico. If we, just think about this. If we slap on a 25% tariff on Mexican silver coming into the United States, you might think in your mind, well, yeah, that's great. The price of silver goes up 25%. The reality is Mexico would not send us the silver. They say, screw you. If you're going to slap 25% tariff on the silver that we're selling you, you know what we're going to do? We're not going to sell you any silver. And oh, by the way, why are they selling silver in the first place? Mexico could be the richest country on the planet. They have the most silver. All they got to do is stop selling silver. Stop exporting silver. Trump, you want to fix that immigration problem? Allow silver to run freely, and every single immigrant who came into the country is going to run back to Mexico. We're going to have... Mexico will be putting up the wall. That was the thing that cracked me up back 4 years ago when Trump went down to Mexico and said, yep, they've decided to pay for the wall. Everyone's like, what are you talking about? Trump, you have no idea what you're talking about. He does know what he's talking about. He was about to nail JP Morgan for rigging the gold and silver markets, but they kicked the can down the road again with the fake election of Joe Biden. This all makes sense. It's all wound in a tapestry. So let's take a look at what is going on right now as we speak. The first delivery day, we're at 50 million ounces. Let's see how much is left on the books to be delivered. Right now, they did 10, so this is down by 10. It's about somewhere around 5 million more ounces. I mean, sorry, 5,000 contracts, which is 25 million ounces, which would be 75 million ounce delivery month, which would be huge. Now, these numbers get a little quirky. So there's always, the COMEX loves to mess with everybody's head. And, you know, this is what I think is happening. We already know they've stood for delivery for 50 million ounces. And it's the bankers standing for that. This is going to crack you up when I show you this. But so this open interest, it delays. It's delayed by 1 day because they post this. This will probably go down to right around 5,000 contracts more. So they've delivered 10,000 contracts, and we got 50% more, 5,000 contracts. We'll see how it happens. But remember, anybody who's trading on the COMEX can stand for delivery at any moment. You can come in, buy a new contract, and stand for delivery that day. If you're the good guys trying to take out the banking cabal and you want to do it in this month, line up. You'll get massive amounts of silver. Because right now, who's giving away the silver? Of the 10 million ounce, this is so obvious. You can guess it. There's two banks that are ponying up all the silver. You can guess it. Go ahead, guess. Oh, JP Morgan, HSBC? Yeah, of course. Let's take a look. Here we go. Right here. Holy crap. Look at this company. 30 million of it came from one company. How is that even legal? Who is it? JP Morgan Chase. But here's the more important thing. JP Morgan Chase hasn't done crap since the lawsuit was settled. All they did was lease it around the back so Bank of America could play with it. This is the first time I've seen a significant delivery of physical metal by JP Morgan's house account. See that little H? That's their house account. That's their own kitty. The COMEX was so short physical silver that they had to go to JP Morgan and say, well, JP Morgan had those shorts. Say, you can't roll over shorts at these times because people are asking for the metal. So JP Morgan Chase, out of their own pocket, What are they doing with 30 million ounces of silver just sitting in their pocket? Is there no justice? Where is that justice system? And then who were the biggest customers asking for delivery? You guessed it, JP Morgan's customers. All the shell accounts they set up. They asked for 20 million. So it really only cost them 30 million, 6, 35, 30. Yeah, it only really cost them about 10 million, 2,000. 10 million ounces of silver. That's a lot of silver when there's not much silver out there. So let's find out who else is taking delivery. Because you know it's the bankster criminals. Here's Morgan Stanley, 5 million ounces. That's rare. You don't see that very often. What else jumps out? Wells Fargo, 500,000. Wait. Morgan Stanley had, 5 million ounces. Wells Fargo's never been a huge player. There's HSBC. Last year, HSBC delivered about half of it. So we know who's on the back end of the JP Morgan, Bank of America, and then they did structured derivative deals. Jenny Moonstone told us this years ago. That's what they were doing. She couldn't name the names of the companies. She said they've changed the way they're going to rig. And lo and behold, they did. So JP Morgan stole the silver, got busted for it, leased it to Bank of America, who did structured deals with other banks. HSBC is the one holding most of the bag, probably. Remember, HSBC, Hong Kong Shanghai Bank, the entire existence of HSBC was set up in the 1850s to rig the silver market and get all the silver flowing back out of China into England because it was all flowing there. Because all the spices and the silks that they were getting from China, all the silver was going to China because China was on a silver standard. So the King of England said, hey, screw this. Let's send our banker partners out there. We'll set up Hong Kong Shanghai Bank. We'll have them develop the poppy fields. We'll get everybody addicted to opium, and we'll destroy the country of China. And then we'll steal all their gold because they'll have to steal all their silver because they're going to have to pay with silver. It worked like a charm. It's what the opium wars were fought over back in the day. HSBC has been rigging it ever since. And I believe HSBC still runs the hedge book of the U.S. Mint. Yes, the U.S. Mint is knee-deep in this bullshit. Ventures Gibson can't even make a silver eagle if her life depended on it. Why is she still there, Trump? The queen of DEI. Why is she still in charge of the Mint? Anyway, okay, keep going. Who else are we playing? Who else is playing the game? Here's a monster. BMO Capital asked for almost 10 million ounces. BMO Capital. You know what that means? That means they did some kind of silver deal with Bank of America. All the Bank of America leases from JP Morgan are coming due now. It's not like Bank of America leased the silver and just stood there and did nothing with it. No. Look at the derivative market. Again, look at the derivative market. This was pretty much zero. A couple years prior, and by fourth quarter of 2021, bang. They had $28 billion worth of silver derivatives, or 27, and JP Morgan had 28. That is exactly what happened. JP Morgan stole all the silver over 12 years, get busted for it. They lease it all out to Bank of America, almost identical numbers. So Bank of America could get it into the market to continue the price rigging job of silver. Silver has been so abused, but you know what? I really think the Silver Knights will come out of their hiding spots all around the world to destroy the banking cabal. I think Trump's going to allow it to happen. You know, whoever's president gets to press the button in either rig markets or not rig markets. I think Trump, very early on, is going to destroy the old system. That's why he's talking about all this stuff about going back to a gold standard and, we're going to use cryptos. This is all about a changeover from the unbacked fiat system. And how can you take down Jamie Dimon? Right here. Look at this. Look at the latest OCC derivative report. JP Morgan Chase, $3.5 trillion in assets, $60 trillion in derivatives. Remember, every one of the $3 quadrillion worth of derivatives around the world, everyone has a counterparty. If you have one of the biggest counterparties on the planet in JP Morgan Chase go down, what will happen to the system? What will happen to the derivative market? A $3 quadrillion meltdown? Why do you think Buffett calls it a weapon of mass financial destruction. It's exactly what would happen. It would destroy the system. You need physical silver in your own possession. In your own possession. You need the good cryptos in your own possession. If you don't know what they are, I like Theta. Theta Fuel are my favorites right now, along with Veritasium, but you can't really get it. You can get one or two. It's the insurance. And Trump's going to use that Veritasium card, absolutely. All the crypto billionaires are going to instantly go, holy shit, what happened? I had a DeFi coin. It's not going to end DeFi. It's just they're going to have to go to Reggie for permission, and Reggie's going to charge them to use his patent. He'll charge, the same way everybody, like Microsoft charges to use software, intellectual property. Everybody charges to use everything. So, yeah, really interesting times. I'm very excited. I'm sitting here on the sidelines going, holy crap, this is what I've been looking at and thinking. What I didn't know it would take 25 years when I started saying, oh, my God, they're rigging the silver market. Back in 1999, I think I started writing with the Gold Antitrust Action Committee, and Bill Murphy over there started publishing my stuff in 2000. I was like, yeah, this is cool. I was known as a concerned citizen at the time. And then I made a decision. I said, do I expose myself, so to speak? And I said, yeah, this is how important it is. So, yeah, that's where the road to Roota was born in 2000, about silver and gold. And then crypto's come around. I'm like, oh, this is bullshit. This is electronic blips. Like a lot of people I read into my comment thing. And Cliff said, hey, you're thinking about this all wrong. You better get your head straight. And I'm like, holy shit. I looked at it, I'm like, yeah, you're right. Digital scarcity really is a real thing. It is absolutely a real thing. Yes, if there's a solar flare and all the electronics are fried, would you still have your crypto? You would. If one blockchain is saved somewhere, could you use it? No. But if the electronics are fried or the internet goes down, we're all dead anyway. In a matter of, they've done studies, it'll take a month for the entire planet to melt down. All the nukes will go off. You're not going to care if you have gold and silver. You'll care if you have a gun and maybe enough food to last the 3 weeks that civilization exists in that world. But when the internet comes back up, you're right back where you were before. Digital scarcity is real, and the beauty of it. And when Cliff and I had a debate with Bill Holter and Jim Sinclair about cryptocurrencies, I started off, said, I like cryptocurrencies. I like Bitcoin. We were talking about Bitcoin at the time because it's a standalone asset. I was like, Jim, you understand this. You taught me this. Standalone asset is an asset unto itself. It doesn't need a third party to be around you have full control. There's no custodian. There's no bank of Bitcoin that goes down. There's no company behind it. You don't have to worry unless you put it in like an exchange like FTX or something crazy, or Coinbase, something crazy like that. You don't have to worry about it. It's a standalone asset, and those are very rare. Obviously, gold and silver are standalone assets, and no, gold and silver do not have intrinsic value. Well, Bix, you got to dig it out of the ground. Yeah, sure. That's intrinsic costs. Same with Bitcoin. There's intrinsic costs to Bitcoin. I love this analogy when people say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, Bix. There's no intrinsic value in Bitcoin. There's intrinsic value in gold. I go, yeah, really. If you're sitting on a desert island and you have a choice between a ham sandwich or an ounce of gold or a ton of gold or 10 tons of gold, which would you choose? Knowing you'd never get off that island, you'd take the sandwich. There's no intrinsic value in anything. There's perceived value. There's value in other people valuing it higher than you do, and you can go sell it to them. I think that will happen with silver. We're going to see a lot of people, especially these large corporations who absolutely depend on silver, trying to get their hands on it. I think that's what we're seeing right here. Everybody and their mother is trying to get their hands on physical silver because it's going to stop. And when the physical silver is no longer available, it becomes what Cliff High calls unobtainium. You can't get it at any price. What would the gold-silver ratio be if we had lots of gold but very little silver, because it's used in all these manufacturing facilities. NVIDIA, the favorite stock, massively depends on silver. Any computer hardware depends on silver. Yeah, they need it in little bits, so that gives them even more reason to pay a lot of money for silver, for a single ounce of silver. I think solar panels, I think they're already making that shift away from silver in solar panels. It was dumb. It was the dumbest thing I ever saw, using all that silver in solar panels. At some point, probably very soon, people are going to rip the panels off their roof, try to get the ounce or two of silver that's on their roof. When silver goes to $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $10,000 an ounce, who knows? Nobody knows the price of silver. Anybody who says, "Oh, Bix, that's ridiculous," you need to understand the history of how it was rigged and why it was rigged. Silver is the most important asset on the planet. Without silver, you have a completely different way of living. No flat screen TVs, no cell phones. You'll have them, they'll just won't be as good. They won't work as good, as silver is the best conductor of electricity. Someone's trying to tell me that gold's a better conductor of electricity. That is not true. Silver is the number one conductor of electricity on the planet. Anyway, moving on. So yes, very excited about the deliveries. I didn't think I'd see this, truthfully. I didn't think I see it on the COMEX, because they can do anything they want on the COMEX. So clearly, somebody is deciding that, hey, it's time to show the world what's going on. So this is 50 million. I think the whole month will be 75 million ounces. I think it's a record or close to a record. And it could be even more, especially given that Trump's going to put on these tariffs, which would mean I don't think the silver will come into the United States if he does. Mexico has leverage over the United States. Not a lot of leverage. We send them a hell of a lot, but the reality is they can say, okay, no more exporting silver to the United States of America. And maybe that's what Trump's going for. Maybe he really does want to destroy the silver cabal, because he knows it's the Achilles heels of the banking system. How do we know that? Just look at the derivative report. $60 trillion. JP Morgan Chase. Oh, by the way, I haven't seen JP Morgan, the CEO, Jamie Dimon, yet, but he's all over the Epstein stuff. Same with the board of directors of JP Morgan. So get ready for that. Maybe I heard Pam Bondi wasn't very thrilled with, or at least the people weren't thrilled with what they released, and they're going to try to release everything. If they do, Jamie Dimon should be there. They called him Jamie Demon. He was so bad. It's bad. And it's time for us to take our country back. It's time for us to say, screw this. We no longer bend to your edicts. We're not going to do what our government says. Screw the government. Pick up the $100 bill, the new $100 bill. Take a look at it. Look right above the gold 100 on the right side. It says, you have the right to overthrow your government. Everything on the road to Roota is coming true right now. Get ready for a crazy, crazy time. I'll be talking on the private road all weekend. Go check out roadtoroota.com. Join the private road. We're currently giving away one of the best cryptocurrencies, Theta. Theta invented a technology that's going to shock the world. Imagine, Theta's a software download, by the way, in case you were wondering. Samsung's a partner, Sony's a partner, Amazon's a partner. Everybody's partnering with Theta, but it's cheap. It's extremely cheap. And we're giving away with every private road subscription, which is a 1-year membership, 5 Theta, 50 T fuel, and 500 T drop loaded on a paper wallet. A lot of non-crypto people say, I just want some. I'll stick it with my silver. We mail this paper wallet to your front doorstep at home, and just take it, stick it in your safe with your silver, and watch the world evolve. That's what I got right now. Again, we're going to be going 2 or 3 this weekend on the private road. It's going to be fun. Go check it out. Bix Weir, roadtoroota.com. Talk to you later.